knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
Well,
I am not an African American.
You're Oreo cookie, white in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro, I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I will slap you.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Get it off your chest Friday. I'm going back to the phones to get everybody and their mama in here. Kevin, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Let me tell you this. For the last 23 years, by way of my nonprofit organization, Bond, we're committed to rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. It's time out for blacks to sit back and allow someone else to tell them when to do, what to do, and how to do it, and they don't have to be accountable. They need to be responsible for themselves and their children. Get away from those godless black preachers who are not called by God, but by their mama, and get away from the so-called black leadership, get away from Obama, and become real people again. And we're committed to doing that for the last 23 years without the help of the government. Isn't that something?
That's very good. That's a very good accomplishment. You shouldn't need it. If it's a nonprofit, you shouldn't need help from the government. You get it from the people.
Well, the people do support it, but my point is black people don't need help from the government either, but they think that they do. And that's where the problem is.
No, hold up.
They trust the government.
Every American needs some help. Some Americans need help from the government.
They trust the government more than they trust the government more than they trust themselves. We don't need help from the government. We need the government to do what we hired it to do.
You didn't hire the government.
We do hire the government.
You did not hire the government.
Who pay the government?
No, the government has all the money.
Who has all the money? The government. And where do they get the money from?
They don't get it from the people because the government has the money.
So the government does not.
Where does the money come from, Jesse? Where did the first dollar come from?
But Kevin.
Where did the first dollar come from?
Kevin, you don't know where the government gets its money from.
You don't know either.
I'm asking you. Do you know? Are you saying you don't know?
The government owns all the banks. Do they not?
Kevin, stay with me just for a minute. You do not know where the government gets its money from?
It gets its money from people working in other countries. And basically should be backed by gold, but we don't have a gold standard.
Stay with me, Kevin. Stay with me. Stay with me.
Where's the money coming from now?
Kevin, stay with me. Because there are a lot of black people like you who are ill-informed. They have no clue. So you do not know where the government gets its money from, right?
Yeah, okay, all right, help me out. Why don't you tell me? I don't know.
You don't know that it comes from the taxpayers.
Okay, where does the taxpayers get their money from?
That's not the point, man. Stay with me.
No, that is the point. Where does the taxpayers get their money from?
I got to run. Thank you for calling me, Kevin. You see, folks? Kevin is a typical black thinker. And I'm not making this up. He is a typical black man and woman thinker. They've been lied to. He doesn't even know that it's the money coming from our taxes. Maybe he doesn't have a job or something. I don't know. But they don't know. This is why I'm asking white Americans to help me educate black people. They really just don't know. They've been kept from knowing by their godless leadership, including their preachers, and we got to help them. 888-7753-773. Back in a moment.
So I get out of bed, put on my shoes, and in my head, thoughts like back to the break of these four walls are here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known.
This Open Line Friday, Get It Off Your Chest Day. What you don't know, folks, behind the scenes here, I am multitasking. I'm having staff meetings during the commercial breaks and then come back and do the show. What a time, what a time, what a time. Let's go to Sandra out of Michigan. We're going to get everybody in here. Sandra, Good morning. Get it off your chest.
Good morning, Jesse.
Hi. Do you have on your white privilege
Absolutely
wristband?
not. Absolutely not. And double racism. That's all that is.
But why do you think white folks are not? Why you gotta allow this to happen?
Because people aren't politically engaged. People aren't educated. People are involved in entertainment, and that's what influences their decisions and their morals and their life. People just don't care about anything that's relevant. But I have to say, you are so on point with Obama and his agenda.
Yeah.
And if people would stop and just listen to the common sense of what you're telling them, instead of just defending Obama because he's half black,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest accomplishment they've ever achieved in their life, maybe, is having a black president, which is the worst thing that's ever happened to this country
The
so
worst
far.
thing that's ever happened since American existed.
That's right. And his whole agenda is just to dismantle this country, dismantle the economy, dismantle the military, dismantle a two-party system. And when he leaves, he wants to have that in place.
Yes.
And the one thing that I just can't believe that people aren't infuriated about is that he has shut off the White House to the American public.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
the only people going into that White House are the people who work for him. And that, once you shut the White House off, you've isolated the people from the government.
Yeah.
The taxpayers pay for that White House. They pay his salary, and he has no right to do that. And that, cutting that off is a drop in the bucket as far as saving money. When he spent $2.2 billion for cell phones, and 41% of the people couldn't even justify their eligibility for them, but they got them.
Yep.
And then he shuts off the White House to the American public. People should be indignant about that.
And he acts, but Sandra, he can get away with it. That's why he's doing all this.
He is, and people are just to the point that they just sit back and let whatever happens, and hope that maybe, at the end of his term, a Republican will get in. But he will have created so much destruction that, and by that point, I don't know if it can ever be corrected.
He invited the leaders from the Muslim Brotherhood to the White House, but he's going to shut it off from children in this country and citizens of this great nation. The guy can do what he wants. Obama is working to destroy the Republican Party.
Oh, he is,
exactly. In order that Democrats should get in and take over both houses, then he can destroy America. Maxine Waters even said that Obama was building a website or information bank with people names and everything, and he laid out a format where the Democrats would have to follow that format. So even when Obama is out of there, he's setting it up where Democrats would maintain control over the government. And so this guy, he knows how to organize evil, and he's setting this whole thing up. Andre, do we have that soundbite of Maxine Waters? If you can get that, I want to remind the people. So Obama is organizing this thing so when the Democrats, if and when the Democrats completely take over, they're going to have control for a very, very long time.
That's right. And you know what? I can't believe that somebody would not even know how the government is supported, where it gets its revenue from.
You talked about Kevin.
Yeah. He doesn't even know where the government gets its money from, how it operates.
But and forgive me, don't forgive me, because it's true. The average black person doesn't know where the money comes from. They do not know it's coming from the taxpayers. And that's why they're not really bothered by it, because so many of them are relying on the government and they're not feeling the pain that we, the workers, are feeling.
Well, that's true because, you know, when you have generational poverty
Yes.
and you get used to living off of entitlement programs,
Yes.
but what they're going to have a big wake-up because as Obama dismantles the economy and you overburden the taxpayers because you have to have a gross domestic product to create revenue.
That's right.
Taxes, the government can't just live on taxes.
Hold that thought, Senator. I wanted you and listeners to hear Maxine Waters.
But it also represented the countdown of the end of his presidency.
That's right.
And the reality is, like anything else, you better get what you can while he's there because, look, come 2016, that's it.
Well, you know, I don't know, and I think some people are missing something here. The president has put in place an organization that contains the kind of database that no one has ever seen before in life. That's going to be very, very powerful, and whoever...
In terms of the Organizing for America that he's now shifting to become a 501c4.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. And that database will have information about everything on every individual in ways that it's never been done before, and whoever runs for president on the Democratic ticket have to deal with that. They're going to have to go down with that database and the concerns of those people because they can't get around it. And he's been very smart. I mean, it's very powerful what he's leaving in place, and I think that's what any Democratic candidate is going to have to deal with.
There you have it, Sandra.
Well, I think that's pretty scary, isn't it?
It is. It's mind-blowing.
And, you know, she's stupid enough to put that information out there and try to put it across as a positive where it's a negative, where the government will know everything about everybody.
About everybody. And Obama is organizing this thing, whereas when he's gone, the Democrats will follow this platform. Agenda, and then just maintain control. They got information on everybody and their mama.
Well, what black people don't realize, and especially those caught up in generational poverty, is that this president has been the worst president for black people because there's more black people unemployed now than ever.
Yes.
But taxpayer money can only go so far.
That's right. Sandra, I got to run. I'm sorry. Thank you for your call, though. Great call.